On behalf of the board, I welcome everyone this evening and call the meeting of the Linn-Mar Community School District Board of Directors to order here at 5 o'clock. John, will you please determine a quorum?
Director Buchholz?
Here.
Director Foss?
Here.
Director Langston?
Here.
Director Mansour?
Here.
Director Maury?
Here.
Director Thomas?
Here.
President Lyle Lancaster?
Well, I'm here, and we are really loud today. That's awesome. Hey, to keep this meeting flowing, I will read each agenda item and ask at the number that goes along with it, and then ask for a report or a motion. Let's get this going by starting with item number 200, adoption of the agenda. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Midhat and a second by Barry. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed? And the motion has carried.
Katie, can we fix?
He's working on
Okay.
it. Thank you very much. We're going to keep going. Item number 300, our district highlight moment. And here we go. This is awesome. Thank you.
Good evening. We believe that all students, no matter their ability, should be given the opportunity to experience different sports and activities. Linn-Mar Special Olympics provides our student athletes the opportunity to show their unique talents while developing their skills, fostering friendships, and promoting inclusivity. In January, several of our students proudly participated in the Special Olympics basketball competition, showing off their skills in shooting, dribbling, and passing. Tonight, we are honored to introduce two Linn-Mar athletes who will be representing our district at state competition. Connor Frankenberg. Connor? Yes. Come on. Who is a 7th grader at Excelsior, and Hayden Schultz. Come here. Who is a 2nd grader at Lynn Grove. Their hard work and enthusiasm were truly inspiring, and we're so excited for these two students to have this amazing opportunity to represent our district at the state level. We want to recognize all of our outstanding athletes and give special recognition to both Connor and Hayden as they advance to the state competition in March. I also would like to thank Mel and Kelsey for their coaching of our athletes this school year. We are so proud of both and proud of all of our students who participate. Thank you and congratulations to Connor and Hayden. Let me clap here.
All right.
Families will let you get a photo first if you'd like, and then I'll snap one too. You're welcome to come up here. Mel, I can send you the picture. Yeah.
Or is it not?
Nope, we're okay. Well, actually, we'll do this. Wonderful. Okay, we'll do the families first. Everybody over here. 1, 2, 3. Perfect smile. And I'm going to snap one right here. 1, 2, 3. Very good. Everybody go. Congratulations. Hey, no thank you.
Got the open yes.
Rod, so close later, maybe.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that special moment. As our friends get out, I'm going to continue with our board meeting if I have everyone's attention. Awesome. At this time, we typically would have item number 400, our audience communication. However, we did not have anyone sign up to speak to any items this evening. Therefore, we will continue to move on to item number 500, our informational reports. At this time, we have item number 501, our certified budget update. Bring it, John.
All right, certified budget update. This is an annual thing. We're going to run through here just a few things as it deals with our certified budget for fiscal year 27. So we're going to cover what the purpose of this is, the timeline, some key factors, what our preliminary estimate is, and then a tax rate comparison. So the purpose of this is to establish our maximum tax rate, to communicate that tax rate and the levy amount expectations to the public, and to inform on the FY27 line item budget. So the timeline, by March 5th, we have to establish, March 5th at 4 p.m., we have to establish our maximum tax rate and proposed budget and notify the Linn County Auditor of that. March 10th through 20th, we'll publish our first public hearing date in the Gazette, and then we will also post that on the district webpage and social media. On March 30th, we will hold that first public hearing on the proposed tax notice. On April 5th, we'll finalize our tax levies and the proposed budget. Between April 7th and 17th, we'll publish the notice of the second hearing date in the Gazette and on our webpage and social media. And then April 27th, we will hold the certified budget hearing, and the board will take action on our certified budget. And then prior to April 30th, we need to file our certified budget with the Iowa Department of Management and the county auditor. So this is the same process that we've had here now for the last 2 years. So just a quick overview on our funding buckets as a little bit of a refresher here. So we have our general fund, which is our largest fund. The funding for that is our property tax, state aid, and some miscellaneous income. The largest portion of our expenses is the salaries and benefits, which is roughly 80% of our total general fund. That also pays for materials, purchase services, utilities, et cetera there. Management fund, that is fully funded by property taxes. That pays for our liability insurance, our property insurance, work comp insurance, and any early retirement plans. Our Pearl Fund, which is our physical education recreation levy, that's funded fully by property tax at a 13.5 cents per thousand. That pays for playgrounds and community rec spaces on our Linn-Mar properties. Our PEPL Fund, or Physical Plant and Equipment Levy, that is funded by property tax as well. There's two pieces to that. There's a 33-cent levy that is board approved and a $1.34 that is voter approved. That's what we had extended here through 2035. When was that, 18 months ago, somewhere in that time range. The expenses for that, building, construction, vehicles, and equipment over $500. Our debt service fund, that is 100% funded by property taxes as well. That pays our general obligation bond debt, so we levy enough in that fund in order to pay our debt principal and interest payments. The other thing that comes out of that fund is we will transfer into that fund from other funds to pay their debt, their principal and interest payments. So that example would be when we borrow against SAVE for SAVE revenue bonds, we make a transfer from our SAVE fund to our debt service fund to make those principal and interest payments. Next there is our SAVE or capital projects funds. That is funded by sales tax. The 1 cent penny tax, as a lot of people know that. Expenses for that are very, very similar to PEPL, capital projects, technology, buses, construction. The Student Activity Fund, so that's exactly what that says it is it funds our student extracurricular activities. So the funding is the admissions, fundraising, student dues, and the expenses or anything that support those co-curricular activities. The Nutrition Fund, so think that's our school lunch, school breakfast. So we have revenues there that are our meal sales and then federal and state reimbursements. And then the expenses are anything that support our food service, so it pays for our salary and benefits of our nutrition workers, and it pays for the food that they serve as well. Lastly, there is our other enterprise funds. So we have two of them here at Linn-Mar. We have the Roar Store, and then we have our aquatic center. So the revenues that come in for those are revenues that are generated by those two operations, and then the expenses are the expenses that support those. So those two just need to maintain a positive balance throughout the year. All right, so FY27, so tax rate. A couple things just to memorialize here is this is an assumption of a 1.75 SSA. It sounds like today that the 2% is headed to the governor, so these will change just a touch, but not much at all. I plugged it in real quick, and this rate would raise from $17.99 to $17.99.406 to $17.99 8 something something. So it's a very minute change for that. The individual levy rate that is affected by that is just the general fund. The others will stay exactly as noted here. So very small change with that change in the system of 1.75 to 2%. So just know that that will change this just a touch. Obviously, this is living and breathing, and I guess the assumption there is that the governor will approve what SSA is at 2%, but that's also not known until that happens as well. So, all right, so as we look at this, our levy rate is made up of these individual levies, the largest one there being our general fund, $37.4 million, or a rate of $12.98. Then our management fund of $4 million, or a rate of $1.39. Our regular PEPAL, which I spoke about earlier, board-approved PEPAL or regular PEPAL, almost $1 million there at a rate of 33 cents per thousand. Our voted PEPAL, just over $4 million at a rate of $1.34 per thousand. Our plural levy, $387,000 at a rate of 0.135 or 13.5 cents, and our debt service at $5.4 million at a rate of $1.81, for a total property tax of $52.2 million and a rate of $17,99406. So remember on this, what we're looking for here is establishing what our maximum tax rate is. That's what will get posted on. I'll come back to that side. That's what will get posted on this notice that goes out to all taxpayers within our school district. So on that, it'll be the school district's levy amounts, it'll be the county levy amounts, and the city levy amounts. And that is what our maximum can be. We still have until April 30th to lower that if we so choose. So we just want to make sure that we're establishing a maximum rate that we're comfortable with, knowing that we can bring that overall levy rate down. So the proposed property tax notice here, this is what will go out, like I said, will go out to all residents in the Linn-Mar Community School District. I'm just going to speak on what the school district side of this is. So if we see you see those 3 columns there, kind of starting there roughly in the middle of the page. It's our current year final property tax levy dollars. So that's showing what we are currently having here in fiscal year 26. A total levy of $49.4 million with a rate at 17.99468. The middle column there is what they call the effective property tax dollar. And what they are showing there is that if we were still to level the $49.456 million, what is the levy rate that we would need to generate those dollars? So that is at 17.08780. I think the reason that this is on here is to show what the property is, kind of one way to show what the property tax growth is. But the assumption here is that the school district would not need any more levy dollars and are able to support the functions that we do here at the school district. I think everybody can agree that the cost of goods and services go up, and probably more importantly that our people also deserve a raise every year. So to try to maintain a budget based on the same amount of dollars coming in, I think is very, very difficult, but that's really what this is trying to show. The third column there is for FY27, so that's our proposal. And that's showing the $52 million in property taxes and a proposed rate of 17,99406. So as you can see, we're trying to stay flat with our levy rate. The bottom section of that there is a comparison of, the first line there is a comparison of residential property with an assessed valuation of $100,000 for our current year, and then for the next year is a valuation of $110,000, so a 10% increase. So this year, the actual valuation of a $100,000 house would be $854 per year in taxes. The proposed at the $110,000 valuation would be $881 or a 3.16% increase. The second line is the same comparison with a $300,000 and a $330,000 property. So taxes there would go from $3,709 to $4,117 or an 11% increase. So that is the budget as of today. Those of you that have been on the board previously know that we'll get our maximum established, and then we will have another more comprehensive update that talks more than just about the proposed levy rate, but also talks about our expenditure categories and staying in line with those. So this is just the initial first step so that we can get our maximum rate to the county auditor prior to March 5th and publish so it can go out to the mailer, or go out to the residents in that mailer. Questions?
Thank you very much for your report, and it becomes more familiar each year that you present it. I was going to ask, I know there's a Lion Learning date as well. I know that's not an official date for submission or on your timeline, but that will be a part of that press release so that people can see that document, because that's been the biggest feedback we've gotten in person, is that our community members see that document that comes in the mail, and they don't understand it and have appreciated when you have given them, here's what this really meant. It's not $3 more, it's 3% more, and you've been able to read that through with them.
Yep.
How, and Renee, you probably can speak to this more, but when do we make sure that that Lion Learning date is available? And is there anything else that, I know that those were official dates, but I know we've added that as a new, like, we're confident this is the date you want, that's the meeting you really want to go to, because that's where you're going to get information from John directly.
We have a newsletter going to parents this week, and that information's included in there, and then it'll follow on social media and our website.
Okay, so if I am somebody who's lived in the district, though, for 20 to 30 years, I don't have children in the district anymore, so I'm not getting that newsletter. I may not be on social media, because the ones who have shown up are individuals who get postcards, and that's what they saw, is this postcard. Is there any way, I'm just throwing this out there, do we need to get into the Gazette or something like that to just let them know that, hey, we're having a special learning opportunity? If not, I'm all about not doing it, but I'm just saying, is there a community member that in this, is there a section of our community we're not addressing, and we don't want to leave them behind? We want them to have voice, but we also want them to have an opportunity to have dialogue with you.
The mailer that they receive actually has information on the public hearing that John described. So that's another way that they can access it. The newsletter I referenced, if I said parent, it's parent community. There's actually subscribers who can also receive that information.
And then to add to that, I appreciate the questions. It was in the Gazette today. Renee had put an article in there already if anybody pulled the Gazette up online or whatever it is. So all of this information you just shared was in there for the most part. The second thing is when do they receive this tax letter? Do we know that?
Oh, Barry, you're testing my memory. I believe, so we have to have the information out to the county auditor by March 5th, and I believe that they have to have those mailed by March 15th, if I remember correctly. And then we're having our public hearing on March 30th, but there's in statute that you cannot hold that first public hearing prior to March 20th, and that's for all public entities, school districts, counties, and cities.
And then Lion Learning is right after that. So, okay, good. That's all good.
It's before that.
25th, isn't it?
25th. It's
Yeah.
the Wednesday before March 30th.
Perfect. Thank you.
And just throwing that out there, that is a way that individuals came to our meeting and we heard that, and that was a feedback that we added that Lion Learning to give them all the opportunities to discussion with you directly. That's, anybody else? Go ahead, Laura.
Did they change the design of the form from last year?
You're saying the mailer?
Yeah.
I guess I don't know what that looks like this year. I'm as surprised as everybody
so
else
they
when we get it in the
could.
mail. Yeah,
Okay. Because
I won't know what it
because
looks
we
like until
don't-
it gets here.
We don't design that.
We do not design that. We do not control that. I just submit the information through the Department of Management website, and they pull that information from there, and the mailer goes out. So if that's changed at all, I guess we'll find out when we receive it in the mail.
Well, and we appreciate the fact that even though you didn't put that document together, that you take the time to answer those questions for people who have confusions about the form with that tax information on it. So thank you.
Anybody else?
No, again, our thanks for putting all that together. All right, thank you. We're going to move on now to item number 502, our board visit to Bowman Woods.
All I'm going to say is the board visit was very good. I appreciated the info. We actually got to touch a little bit on what our kiddos are doing in AI, which was really intriguing to me because it scares me at my age. So
Yeah, I'll piggyback off the AI comment. I always appreciate when you guys bring something to us and we approve some sort of contract or curriculum or some program, and then we get to go see it in action in the buildings. And that's exactly what this was. We approved that AI contract just a month or two ago. And then to be able to see students using it to understand the parameters and the safety built around it, but then get to be able to see them. I think it was a second grade or third grade classroom that they were designing travel brochures, and they had to pick a spot and then go research it. And AI was giving them prompts but not answers. So it was just really neat to see that in action so soon after we were able to have that conversation here at the table.
Another just quick comment from a district standpoint, along with the staff. We saw a lot of sickness that day in that building, and just what all of our teachers and our principals and everybody's going through. I tip my hat to them because it's been a challenge for them all. So.
I just want to add to that AI conversations. I felt that every teacher we spoke to was all about it, like how appreciative they were about using the tool, and how much control they had in the classroom while using the tool, which I was concerned about. That if we did AI in classrooms, how would it look like, and what controls the teachers would have? And it's a very, very safe environment. And the teachers were actually, they were appreciative of using it as a tool to teach students.
Okay, I just don't want to leave out the kindergartners who let me play math games with them, because that was super fun too. So we had great interactions with, and then the kids that let us sit and eat lunch with them. We didn't eat lunch, but they answered all of our questions and were great ambassadors of the building while they ate their lunch. And I can speak for, I think, everyone around me. We all wanted to go eat walking tacos after that lunch as well. It smelled really good.
I'm sorry, you just triggered something that happened with the kids I was sitting at with lunch. There was a young girl sitting with us, and one of the girls said, she's new here. She's just been here 5 days. And I said to her, where did you come from? And the girl didn't answer me. And it was interesting as another girl said, she's smarter than us. She knows English better than we know Spanish. I thought that was really cool because, they're trying to teach each other, which was really special.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the community that welcomed us and let us enjoy it, plus the music lessons that we got and all the music awareness that was there, the fine arts, the gifts. It was definitely a full overview of what's going on in that building. So thank you, and kudos to their staff and to the administration that is encouraging them. We're going to move on now, if we're okay, with item number 503, our Finance Audit Committee report.
Finance Audit Committee report. You've seen a majority of the report that Jonathan just showed us. We did approve bills, which is what we normally do at every meeting, and then also buses, which we'll be talking about later on as well. So that was a majority of our meeting.
We also reviewed the tax inflation reduction tax credit that we'll talk about later on the agenda as well. So it was a good meeting, and John really stole all of our thunder.
Everything we discussed will be discussed today in the meetings.
That's awesome, you guys. Thank you for that meaningful work. If you're okay, we're going to move on to number 504, our Marion City Council report. We talked about, Director Thomas, your meeting was in the 5th of Marion, and then we also have Britt going to talk about the 19th. If you could do a quick summary, are there items that Linn-Mar needs to be aware of and happened at either one of those meetings?
I'd say the biggest highlight would be that there were some traffic advisory actions put into place regarding in our district, so new speed limit signs going up in some cases, going from 35, a lot of 25 mile an hour speed limit signs going up. So just a heads up to folks that they're trying to kind of improve that safety. And that is the most relevant. Thank you.
They set a public hearing to rezone property from agriculture to high-density multifamily residential and business community on South Linn-Mar Road and South 31st Street. So if you think about like the wedge of farmland that where they were proposing to put the new aquatic center, I don't know if that has changed, but that they're rezoning that again, or setting a public hearing to talk about rezoning that from agriculture to high density multifamily. So, and that little section is ours. It's in our district. So.
Thank you very much. I did notice the new signs, most of them around school districts, they have red flags, so please keep note. That is actually for the benefit of the students in their district, so we want to abide by this, so it's a good thing.
A lot of students walk home in that curvy road
Right.
between Tower Terrace, and it just, every time I have to drive past, I'm always just like, oh gosh, like,
Slow down.
so.
So it's to our benefit, whether or not it's our discomfort, it's to our benefit. So thank you very much. Item number 505, our legislative report.
Well, I will kick it off by saying Friday was the funnel deadline, which is exciting because we originally have 5 pages of bills, and now that has been condensed down to, I believe, 2, 3. And so it really kind of focused our attention. Like John said earlier, right now, 2% is the number coming from the governor. The Senate proposed 1.75. I'm going to defer to Britt to go into the weeds because she can rattle these details off way more eloquently than I can. And then nothing's really changed or moved with the potential changes to the property tax bills. But, you know, we have additional details, I guess, itemized and as a resource so we can watch those closely. And I'm going to let Britt dive into some of, like, the topics, some of the bills that made it through Funnel Week that are largely pertinent.
So the House didn't propose its own. They amended the Senate's 1.75 bill. They introduced it at 2.25, and then House debate turned it to 2%. So the House passed that last Thursday, and it was scheduled to be debated again on the Senate floor this afternoon, and the Senate did pass it at like 3:30 at 2%. So House and Senate have both agreed at 2%, since that's what the governor proposed. I would think that that's what she'll sign, but we'll know when we know. But yeah, so that's where SSA is. As Laura said, with property taxes, the only thing that I put in here, so property tax bills are under Ways and Means, which do not, they don't have to follow the funnel deadlines. So we're likely not to see what property tax reform looks like until the end of session. It'll be one of the last bills that they figure out. And there's been no movement on combining the 3 into one, and they all still do lots of very different things, but we did add the actual bill numbers in here now for each of the 3 proposals, so you guys can track them. In terms of the bills that passed the first funnel, which again means that the originating side chamber passed it out of their committee and will send it to the other side. So we maintained bills on restricting partnerships between public schools and libraries. The governor's bill to increase state aid to charter schools made it through. There are 2 different free speech bills. One restricts speech of educators and would remove licensure for speech against politically motivated occurrences, but then there's a counter bill that guarantees free speech for political things for students. So those are out there. There's a bill that will end vaccination requirements for public schools, all vaccinations. There's a bill that made it through that expands the ban on LGBTQ+ discussions. Right now it's K-6. It will be moved to K-12 if that bill passes. However, the original bill that passed last legislative session banning it for K-6 is not in effect because it's on hold in the court system. So I would guess that the K-12 would also be on hold until the courts decide on that. There's some rules that would boost immigration vetting for hiring practices. There's a bill that would allow guns to be in school parking lots for people in the pickup and drop-off line or making deliveries at schools. There is a bill coming out of the Senate that provides incentives for schools to reorganize, consolidate, or close. Some of the bills, not all of them, that would address social studies and civic curriculum changes did make it through. There are bills on removing students from classrooms for behavioral reasons. It creates a committee that would have to determine if the teacher was right or wrong in doing so and whether that committee supports putting the student back in the classroom or not. There's a bill on dress codes in schools. Things like everything has to be clean, no rips, no tears, no midriffs, no undergarment showing, things like that.
But it also affects what's written.
What's written on your clothes as well, yes. There is a bill that would require cameras in all special education classrooms. There's a bill that would allow community residents of a district to sue the district without proof of harm if they believe that the district talked about certain banned concepts within schools. Think critical race, DEI, things like that. The bill to separate special education and behavioral students into their own education centers passed. It's a pilot program. So they would pilot one rural district and one urban district would be required to have a separate attendance center for special education and behavior students. There was no funding attached to that bill, so there's talk of an amendment to explain how that pilot program would be funded. And then there's a bill that made it through on early childhood changes that I don't know if that would affect our preschool program or not, but it just changes the funding mechanism. So we also left in the bill for Ways and Means that would move it's separate from the property tax discussion, but it would move all bonds to have an 80% community pass rate in order to go forward instead of a 60%. So that's your update. And there are far fewer bills, but there's still a lot to watch and be aware of. Next funnel deadline is March 20th, and that is when anything that came out of the House has to make it out of a Senate committee, and anything that came out of the Senate has to make it out of a House committee. So if it doesn't flip sides and pass out a committee on the other side of the chamber, it will not proceed after March 20th.
Also, I forgot to say that normally I'm the stickler about the day for which Iowa law says that SSA has to be passed. And that deadline was on February 12th. So by state law, they are supposed to have SSA decided and passed by that point in time. It has not been passed. Just thought I'd share that.
Yep, it's not official until the governor signs it, so.
But yes, questions.
Questions?
Yeah, I've been trying to watch this a little bit personally, but you know, I know the two of you are not experts, but I appreciate you bringing it up. But where do we fit on the vaccination laws? What does that do to us as a school,
So
as a district?
I'm going to let Laura touch, because she was part of the policy committee that looked at that.
yes, so our policy was recently revised in regards to immunization requirements. And at that time, the policy committee changed the wording to be that our district would require the immunizations as required by state law, period.
So
That was how, originally we did have like specific immunizations in there, but as of right now, it says that, so if state law changes to no immunizations required, which is what is proposed, then that is how our policy is currently written, that if none are required, that is our policy.
So on page 3, House File 2171 lists the things that would no longer be required for vaccination: diphtheria, whooping cough, tetanus, polio, measles, rubella, and chickenpox. There are instances in other states where they have done this, and there is currently several measles outbreaks, and kids are dying of measles. So I can't, my personal opinion, I will say personal opinion, this is not a good idea, but of course, if they pass it, we will follow through.
So needless to say, Britt, Laura, I appreciate that policy confirmation. And yes, we will follow law, but as a personal opinion, I'll agree with Britt because that just scares the heck out of me that we are opening up our world. But I guess that's where we're going. So we'll deal with it again, I'm sure. So thank you.
Barry, I on that same kind of logic, Amy, I'm kind of curious if you or your staff have any thoughts on what our recourse as a district would be if there was significant volumes of kids who, were exposed to this. Would we remove them from school while they're fighting it? Would we quarantine the classroom? Just, if there's any best practices or thoughts that we should be aware of.
I'm going to invite Amy to share as she wishes, but remember, we're waiting for this to pass through before we're deciding how we would solve this. So I just want to keep that in mind as we discuss it, just so that anyone who's listening or participating realizes this is, at this point, we're going through the motions what ifs, because as Britt has said, there are other states that are already farther down the road than us. And best practices would be what was the outcome in those states. Amy, go ahead and please respond, but I just wanted us to know we're still it has not become law yet.
Can I add something real quick before Amy answers? The hard thing about this is that right now it's a requirement. So current kindergarten on up, they're all vaccinated unless they have like a religious exemption. So the effects of this are going to start in like 5 or 6 years when we start seeing today's toddlers and babies and the babies that will be born in the next few years not be vaccinated, and then they enter school. So we're really, if it passes, we're really not going to see the impact of it in mass for several years, because all the kids right now are required to be vaccinated.
Yeah, just real quick, I would say we would partner, arm in arm with Linn County Public Health and be receiving our best practice information from them and then following through with an implementation plan with Ann's department and our nurses. If you think about the conversation over the course of the summer where there were some concerns around measles, we were working with Linn County Public Health at that time, should we, start to see that happening in our buildings. And thankfully, knock on wood, we haven't had to deal with that, but Linn County would definitely be our go-to for that.
Other questions about any of this?
No, but deep gratitude for the work. Do you have one, Midhat?
You said the SAVE bill was not part of the funnel, but it was the means and...
So the Ways and Means Committee is exempt from the funnel deadline process. As are appropriations. So really the money bills, budget, things like that, they don't follow the funnel process. So the property tax proposals, all three of versions, the governor's version, House and Senate, they're all in the Ways and Means Committee. So they exist, they have numbers, but they're not being talked about because there's no rush to beat a funnel deadline. And I would guess that there are conversations going on behind the scenes about what can we merge and what is a final bill looking like, but we won't probably hear anything about that until close to the end of session.
Thank you. I just wanted to...
But yeah, it's still out there.
Just another quick reminder to that point. Just because something didn't make it through funnel doesn't mean it's completely dead. There's always an opportunity for it to come up way at the end of the session. So
yes,
sometimes in the middle of the night.
Nothing is dead until session is closed. There is a frustrating habit of adding things in amendments to standing bills at the end of session. So you're right. The individual bills are dead by themselves, but the topics within those bills can always be added to something at the end of session. So we are always aware of that.
Oof. All right. Thank you very much for that update, and a lot to consider and to be in a holding pattern for much of it. So thank you very much. We're going to move on to number 506, Superintendent's Report.
Yeah, I'd love to share district honors and highlights to kick off my report tonight. So I've kind of got 4 sections to begin with and then some additional pieces. But we have a robotics highlight. Congratulations to our high school robotics team on their success during the first Tech Challenge Pompeii League tournament. Team 4150, Dark Matter, earned the Connect Award. award, Team 4324, Lost in Time, received the Design Award, and Team 10107, In Theory, was runner-up for the Think Award. And they advanced to playoffs as Alliance captain and qualified for the state championship tournament. So that's fantastic. And I've got several athletic highlights here next. Congratulations to Drea Kern, Linn-Mar High School girls basketball, for achieving the major milestone of scoring 1,000 career points to become only the 10th Lion in history to do so. Boys swimming, congratulations to our boys swimming team for being named runner-up or earning runner-up at the Iowa High School State Swim Meet, not this past weekend, but the previous weekend. Congratulations to our boys wrestling team. They sent 11 wrestlers to the state tournament, and over the weekend, they earned as a team 6th place finish, and 5 of the wrestlers became medalists, and they recorded the most pins in the least amount of time among all classes. So that's fantastic. Also, our girls basketball team wrapped up their season over the weekend. We want to celebrate their dedication and hard work throughout the season. Congratulations on all of your efforts. And then a show choir highlight. Congratulations to the Linn-Mar High School show choirs on their great performances during the Cedar Rapids Jefferson Show Choir Invitational last weekend. In-Step got 2nd place, first runner-up in the finals, 2nd place in the open class prelims, and also won Best Band. High Style got 6th place, 5th runner-up in the finals, and earned 1st place in the treble division, with Ava Schulte and Megan Cooper being named Outstanding Soloists. Congratulations to them. And we've already mentioned this earlier, but just one more plug for our Lion Learning Session. Folks can join myself and John on March 25th at 5 o'clock for a Lion Learning Session on the FY27 tax notices. And like we shared earlier, we'll be sending out communication around that in various media forums. As far as our ongoing facility projects that we have in motion, our performance hall project, they're continuing to work on the orchestra shell, so the shop drawings were recently returned and work is moving forward there. Hallway extension information has been received, and OPN will be connecting with the district next on that. The Indoor Activity Center project, there's development of interior and exterior renderings, concession stand development, and the steering committee has reviewed the cost estimate. So along with that, on March 3rd, we're calling the larger stakeholder group back in for an update where we'll provide a presentation and show the early cost estimates that evening. And then the board on March 9th will receive that same presentation and see the cost estimate that we've just recently received back on that. As far as the Oak Ridge Band Room addition, we did get confirmation that the storm shelter scope is required. We got that from the city. They've been generating floor plans based on seating capacity targets, and they confirmed square footage goal with the district based on seat count possible. And our facilities assessments. The goal is to finish the building analysis for 4 of our, actually for the high school, Excelsior, operations and maintenance, the aquatic center, and the stadium by the end of the month, and all educational assessments have been completed. And just highlighting a few events, this week we're real busy here. We've got early dismissals both on Tuesday and Thursday, followed by K-8 conferences both days, and then no school on Friday for a professional development day. With that, I take any questions.
Anyone? All right, thank you very much. We appreciate it. We are now going to move into item 600, our unfinished business. At this time, item number 601, our Inflation Reduction Act Energy Credit. I now turn the microphone over to John.
Thanks, Katie. So the Inflation Reduction Act Energy Credit, about 13 months ago, last January of 2025, the board approved to engage a firm to help us through this credit. That was Eid Bailey. So the Section 48 Clean Energy Investment Tax Credit, we've qualified for that on this building specifically because of the geothermal. There's other things you can qualify for, solar, wind, fuel cells, microturbines, energy storage, et cetera, et cetera. So with that, they come in, they do an assessment of what qualifies. Like I said, for us, that's geothermal, and the cost that goes with that. So that's not just the geothermal system, but the electricity that it takes to run it, some of the structure, X, Y, and Z. So with that, they're able to go through and do the calculations. At first glance, they thought that that credit would be somewhere between $170,000 to $190,000. As they had conversations with some of our design team and some of the contractors and a site analysis, our final credit on that is $516,918. So that will come back to us, and we will be very thankful for that. The fees for Eid Bailey to go through that work are $20,000 plus expenses. So I think we'll be in about the $25,000 neighborhood for that. Yeah, so that'll go back into the fund that we paid for the project out of. So here specifically, that was the SAVE fund.
Well done, well done. It's always good to have some good news along the way, is it not? Thank you very much. Any questions? If not, I'm going to move on to items number 700 under new business. Do I have a motion, please, for item number 701, approval of open enrollment requests?
Motion to approve the open enrollment requests as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Laura and a second by Midhat. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? The motion has carried. Item number 702, approval to set a public hearing, please.
Make a motion to set a public hearing for 6:30 p.m. on Monday, March 30th in the boardroom of the Educational Leadership Center regarding the proposed fiscal year 2027 tax notice.
Second.
I have a motion by Britt, a second by Barry. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? All right, item number 703, approval of acceptance of gift.
Motion to approve the acceptance of a $1,000 matching gift donated by the Iowa Treasurer as part of the 2025 Fall I Save 529 College Savings Month giveaway per policy 802.7.
Second.
We have a motion by Laura and a second by Britt. Is there any discussion?
I just want to congratulate the student who won the gift that then we got the matching gift for. So
That was one of our students at Novak Elementary, so congratulations to him.
Thank you very much. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? And the motion has carried. Item number 704.
I make a motion to approve the purchase of two 77-passenger conventional buses for a total cost of $315,798 from Hoagland Bus Company, and to purchase one 59-passenger lift bus for a total of $153,428 from school bus sales.
Second.
We have a motion by Barry and a second by Midhat. Is there any discussion?
I just want to thank the team behind the bus bids. You know, we went through them in finance audit, and, you know, in a previous meeting not too long ago, we talked about the diversification of the fleet, and sometimes it's diesel and sometimes it's propane and gas. And I thought this bid was a really great example of that. The lift bus, they're choosing gas because they idle more, and idling a diesel engine puts more wear and tear on the engine. And so even though the diesel came in lower on one bid from Hoagland, the gas was a better price than the gas version under Hoagland. So like I'm just very happy with the detail in the work of these bids and how much goes into which ones we're going with, and why you will see the lift is coming from a different company than the regular buses.
I want to thank, we had that discussion a couple months ago and the presentation by the Transportation Department. That was incredibly important to connect the dots to this moment right now. Hopefully you all remember that meeting and just the professionalism and the dedication that that staff has taken to make these, be aware of all those items such as Britt has discussed. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, just kudos to Brian and his team. They do a great job making sure that the district gets the best bang for their buck long term, and not just in the short term with the initial purchase. So good job by their team.
Well done. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed? And the motion is carried. At this time, item number 800, our consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I have a motion. Do I have a
Second.
second? Thank you, Laura. Is there any discussion? If there is no discussion, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed? All right, we go, the motion is passed. We now go to items number 900, our board calendar. I want to just give a quick note for our calendaring that the board will be given an opportunity to approve final interview questions for our candidates, and that'll be coming also this week. And that I do ask that you give your feedback to me by Wednesday so that those can be finalized by that date. So you're going to you got them electronically. You'll get them electronically. You have them electronically. Yes, there you go. I got there in the right tense. So it needs to be back to me by Wednesday. If I don't hear from you, I'm assuming you had nothing to say and we move those questions forward. All right, other calendaring events. Would you please look at your calendars now and say, here we go, ready? Highlighting some that are coming up. February 25th, we have our Career and Technical Education Advisory, CTE, at 4:15. March 2nd, Board Special Session at 1:55. Lunch is at noon. March 9th, Marion State of the City Address, that's at 11:30. March 9th, Board Special Session at 5 o'clock. March 25th, Finance Audit Committee, 7:30 a.m. March 25th, Lion Learning Session on Property Tax Notices at 5 o'clock. March 30th, Board Meeting and Special Session at 5 p.m. May I have some volunteers now to attend the upcoming City Council meetings? We have one on March 5th.
I'll do it.
Thank you, Barry. Hey, Barry, you want to do 2 and 1?
Sure.
All right, thanks, Barry. Made that simple. Okay, Barry's going to take the meetings on that. Do we have any other further discussion on our calendaring?
Typically, the Lion Learning, we treat like a committee, and typically Finance Audit attends that since it's on the tax levy. So I just wanted to share with newer board members that that's not an everyone attends. We don't want a quorum situation.
Thank you for that clarification.
I can't attend it on the 25th, so.
And I will definitely not be there on the 25th, but thank you for that reminder. I think you need to just be mindful of, its purpose is for the community and for feedback for John to be able to discuss those documents. So thank you very much, and Amy will be there as well, I believe. Yes, thank you very much. Let's go on, and we have no other further discussion. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved at
5:53.
5:53.
5:53.
Second.
We have a motion by Britt, second by Laura. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes, awesome. We're going to take a 10-minute break. And